Hello everybody, welcome back to Red Tool House. I want to talk today about a situation where farming or farmsteading clashes with homesteading. Oh my goodness, I see that I've cut myself. That's real life right there. That's a little side tip for you. If you use those pocket knives that have they're the razor blades instead of just a pocket knife, they're really sharp as a benefit, but the negative is they're really sharp. Oh my goodness, got it all down in front of me and everything. Goodness. Like a stuck pig. I digress. What do combat medics say? That all bleeding stops eventually? Okay, back on point. So the one thing I want to talk about when farmsteading clashes with homesteading is the situation we're having with our freezer. Now you see this big monstrosity behind me. If I was just homesteading, was just raising enough pork to provide for my family and maybe one other family, then obviously a stand-up freezer or a chest freezer, typical residential style freezer would be fine. But I'm not doing that. I'm trying to raise enough pork to sell to other people to justify income, to build income for the homestead, to be able to invest in other things, to expand, to do a lot of what you all are seeing. That is usually underwritten financially by my pork sales. So when I get to that point, obviously I need to have something large to store my pork in. So I built this 8x8x8 cube freezer, and it's a walk-in freezer, and that's where I have the majority of my cuts stored. That's where I have all my cuts stored, obviously, that are available for retail. So what's the problem I'm running into? Well, you can see here's my freezer from the inside. I'm inside the workshop, so my freezer box is on the outside. This is how you actually access the freezer. So the problem is, this monstrosity, to be able to store enough pork to generate revenue to homestead, is obviously kind of counterintuitive to what I'm trying to do on the homestead. I'm using a lot of inputs. There's a lot of electricity that goes into this. Obviously a lot of expense in building this thing, a lot of specialty equipment. Obviously this door alone was a very specialized piece of equipment. So it's kind of going the opposite direction, but it's needed to help fund the homestead. So what I want to talk about in particular is this thing. This thing has been a real money pit for me, and if I could advise anyone going forward, if you're going to do something like this on your homestead where you're going to sell meat, whatever it is, chickens, cattle, lamb, pork, whatever, if you're going to sell that and you need to do something this size, get to the point where you want something commercial like this, then I'll give you some quick tips. Tip number one is you get what you pay for. And what I mean by that is, if I just went out and bought a whole brand new unit, yes, I'd have thousands and thousands of dollars in it. But all I had to have done was just prepare a concrete pad, have that unit set in place, plug it in, and be done. Now, yeah, that sounds really easy on the work side, but the cost would have been really high, maybe $4,000 or $5,000 when I was first researching those and looking at new models. Well, in this situation, if you go back to some of my videos, I've talked about this in the past, that I was given this freezer unit in trade. I bartered it for some of my marketing services from a marketing company. So I was helping this company do marketing. They were a refrigeration company. So they said, hey, we've got this used unit, we'll trade you. So it worked out well. So I thought, hey, free unit, I've got the lion's share of the costs covered. Not the case. What I should have done is taken that free unit and then found a freezer box, these walls that you can assemble that are pre-assembled, put it together, put the unit on it, and been done with that. But no, I didn't do that either. I thought, free unit, I'm going to try to stick build my own. Well, that was the next mistake, trying to stick build something that I'm going to use as a freezer. The amount of material costs I have and the lumber, not that big a deal. But when I get into the spray foam insulation and those costs, those specialty type things, costs went really high. So the box itself, I have like $450 in the timber and the siding and the rubber roofing and everything, so no big expense there. But the insulation, I have over $1,400 in spray foam insulation. My door failed. I'd stick built a door, so it failed last year or earlier this year when I had my previous round of pork. In the downtime in between my pork processing, when I had the freezer empty, I quickly came in to replace this door, or replace the wooden door with this door. Now at the time, you can see this door is pretty large. This is an 8x8 cube freezer. I don't need an 8x6 door. See, maybe it's kind of funny. It looks like a semi is backed into the side of the wood shop here. What I did, however, was my first plan was to get a quote on having a door built or getting a door for my 36-inch opening standard that was here before. So I was trying to get a door for that, checking around. Nobody really had a door that size, so looking at custom build options, and it was $1,800 to have one custom built. So I'm like, oh, let's not do that. Let's just try to find doors that size. Well, I couldn't find any. I couldn't find any that size. This is the smallest door I could find on the used market. And I had to drive to Columbus, which was a 2-hour drive, to get this. So this door is way, way overkill. But I got it for $650. So that's a big difference going from $1,800 down to $650. But I had to make some modifications, and you guys are going to laugh, especially some of you guys that have commercial operations like this. So when I opened this freezer door, really nice seal, good looking stuff. As you can see, there's my old opening. So I didn't want to come in and cut the door. In fact, my freezer box itself stops right here. So if I'd have cut this opening wide up, you would have been able to see the sun here. You'd have seen daylight and sky and everything. That would have been a real problem. So I had to come back and insulate all of this. Got this foam insulation here to just obviously try to keep condensation down, to keep air from passing through. But you can see here's my opening in my actual freezer space. So where am I at money-wise? Well, with my free unit that I thought was going to take care of the majority of my cost, I'm at $1,400 in insulation. We'll call it $500 in stick built, so that's $1,900. $600 in the door, so what's that, $2,400? And ironically, just here recently started discovering some of these. If I expanded my Craigslist search, there was one opportunity to buy a 6x6 freezer for $400, the whole unit, not the refrigeration element, but the whole box for $400. So there you go. I mean, it's not an 8x8, but a 6x6 would have sufficed. So what do I have left? Do I have this in place, ready to go? Yes, it's operating. It's been operating for a year now. I know what its power consumption is. That's the other thing. It burns about $140 a month in electricity, so that's pretty substantial. So I really have to sell a lot of pork and sell that pork quickly to justify this monstrosity here. So that, again, that goes against a homesteading model. It goes against trying to reduce my inputs, trying to reduce my cost. It's increasing my cost. But it is still profitable for me. So right now I am still operating in the black, even with this monstrosity here. But you could call it a necessary evil, a tool that's needed, whatever. But in hindsight, if you guys ever decide, hey, I'm going to take my homestead to a farmsteading level and do something like this with cuts, and you want to get into a commercial size freezer, please, please, please don't do what I did. Don't try to build your own. Just invest your money, look on Craigslist, drive 5 hours away if you have to get a good deal on a box. And it'll save you well in advance in the long run. Save you time and also save you a lot of money. So there's a tip. Okay, well, while I have your attention, just one last reminder. The day that this video is released is November 29th. So in 2 days, December the 1st, I'm going to do the drawing for the StormTech jacket. That'll be our last prize giveaway for 2017. And the way that you're entered for this drawing is to simply just go to our website, redtoolhouse.com. Down at the bottom, sign up for the newsletter. Just drop your email in there, some basic information. Not going to sell it to anybody, not going to send it anywhere else. Just going to stay here at Red Tool House. We're just going to send you an email maybe twice, 3 times a month. Just let you know what's going on here. But that's what I draw from. I take a random drawing from that list. Had a lot of response to that, a lot of people signing up. So don't miss out on this opportunity. And we may have some other opportunities in 2018 as well, but this will be the big one. This is a really nice coat. I don't remember the MSRP on it. It's well over $100, I believe. But it's a really nice coat. I enjoy wearing them. I usually wear them when I'm not bleeding and not doing dirty stuff. So check that out. Make sure you get on the list. All right, take care, everybody.